Hey guys, I'm Slave to the Games, and this is part 4 of Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Thank you guys for stopping by. Once again, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, or follow, depending on the platform you're watching this on. Check out the Discord link below if you want to talk to me off hours, obviously. I will still answer your comments as soon as I can. The same thing goes for Discord, and if you want to take that extra mile to donate or become a Patreon member, you can with the link below in the description or in the About Me section, depending on the platform you're watching this on. Now, without further ado, we're gonna go straight into the game. Just wanted to mention that I hope you guys are enjoying it. I really do. Sorry if I mess up any words or, you know, my reading is off charts because I have to read at a pace that I'm not used to, and I also read faster in my head, so it causes me to mess up a lot. Plus, I'm just bad with English sometimes. I don't think we got... Oh yeah, we gotta wait for her. So now we want to do the gang girl. Tamika. Sophie mentioned a gang girl neonate by the name of Tamika, who has made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards, but if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. Let's start this. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arc. Cannot help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you've seen it countless times in broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the northwest gate into Prospect Park. The park is its usual maze of unkempt foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Langley's sources fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees, quick, but evenly paced. Most likely a late-night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill two birds with one stone. You know, I was thinking about feeding on her, but then I was like, nope, you know what, I'm just gonna go with looking for the haven. Buck! You lock onto the sound of footsteps, predicting the runner's path. You move swiftly, but quietly, to intercept them. You hide behind a tree and wait for your prey to get closer. Mere seconds later, a young man in an off-brand tracksuit trots into view. You notice the buds in his ears, beat heavy music bleeding through. That should make things easier. Just as the man passes by, you emerge behind him and plant your hand firmly on his neck. He struggles at first, desperately trying to break free of your grasp, but as soon as your fangs pierce his skin, panic gives way to peaceful submission. Hey, what's up, Lucid? How you doing? You feel elated as the warm liquid trickles down your throat. The fresh vitae washes over your senses, sending an orgasmic shiver along your spine. Somewhere in the deepest, darkest crevices of your mind, the beast stirs in its slumber. You stop feeding just in time. Your hunger satiated, the beast fast asleep. You sit the dazed victim on a nearby bench as the world comes back into focus. You suddenly realize that something is not right. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger-shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A clawed shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of that assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, alright, but he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a he. Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to her, puffing up his chest. Stay out of it, Tam. I smelled him first. Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow, but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you. You shouldn't have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie. Tamika looks at you expectantly. Alright, boy. Let's see if your bite is as bad as your bark. Clearly taken aback, he looks over to Tamika as if gauging her reaction. What are you looking to her for? I thought you were the big bad wolf. A barely visible smile creeps up on Tamika's lips. The man's eyes narrow. Although you can't really see it, you could bet the hair on the back of his neck just stood up. Shut your fucking mouth, pretty boy. Should've run when you had the chance. A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear, as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm, yet oddly affectionate. It's okay, Raul. I'll handle it from here. The male Grangirl looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment, then he turns back towards you. You wanna waste time on this asshole, Tam? Be my guest. Having said his piece, Raul retreats into the shadows, although if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With our companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Straight to the point, huh? I like that. I don't care what you like. Now quit stalling. You have something to say, say it. I come with an offer. I'm willing to offer you my services such as they are. All I would hope for in return is a fruitful, long-lasting relationship. So, you want to help me with something, because you want to be my friend. That about right? Well, it sounded better the way I said it, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Uh-huh. She puts on a veneer of skepticism, but you can tell she's intrigued. That's very earnest of you. It's also kind of silly, but I think I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay with is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So why exactly should I trust anything you say? I don't expect you to. Not yet, anyway. Good, because my trust is earned, not given. Then let me earn it. A few nights of your time, that's all I ask. For a brief moment, she stands there, motionless, looking straight into your eyes, as if trying to size you up. Finally, she looks away. It looks like she's come to a decision. Just so that we're clear, I don't trust you. I have no reason to. Frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, you have that earnest look about you. Naive, almost. I can tell you believe what you're saying. So I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding business to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here and we'll see what you're really made of. And with that, Tamika disappears into the night. That went pretty well, all things considered. I need to rest. Okay, so we'll rest. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Any idea what she needs me for? I'm not in the position to ask. He smiles politely. The car is waiting, shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave, disappear. Let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the anarch thug being cut down by Cater and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago. And that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. God damn it. Again? With the nose thing? Jesus. Her driver leaves and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say... Woo! Sorry about that, guys. I had to sneeze. But I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Seth. Thank you for coming. The change in mood of the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of the vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. The man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They're encrypted, a precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands, but it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that, just a handful of nights ago, would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Seth, Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than the others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Anything more you can tell me about Kaiser? He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. Got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Anarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette except his own. Good night, and good luck. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting. Clearly done with the conversation, you pocket the flash drive and head out toward Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Temporarily stumped, you feel frustration building inside. You've come to recognize what this is. Hunger, the beast calling to indulge your vice and lash out. It has to be silenced. You take a short walk away from the lights into one of the less frequented, poorly lit areas and see if any options reveal themselves. One does. An older bum has settled himself in a small niche between two buildings and has just begun loudly but incoherently praying. Hard to say who he's praying to, but he's entirely engrossed. Good for you. He barely sees you coming, and you bite down trying to ignore the smell of unwashed body and soiled blanket underneath. The taste is... hold up. It's familiar. Yeah. This guy's on a party pill or two. Or... you stop drinking. You feel woozy but happy. The world spins a bit. then starts spinning the other way. You get it under control. And then you don't. You feel your thoughts scattering in all directions, every detail of your surroundings turning into a potential fascination. Faraway lights and sounds composing a beautiful symphony. You bask in the afterglow of a successful feeding, feeling like you're on top of the world, superhuman, a master of the night, a god. A few tangents later, a stray thought saying, "This isn't good," breaks through the layers of noise inside your head, and you realize you've been standing in place for 15 minutes, and staring at you intently is a man with a gun in his hand. Oh, there he is. Stay put. There's someone who'd like to have a word with you. We're gonna wait for him right here. Who the fuck are you? Your words come out slurred, barely coherent. Wow, easy there, buddy. He nods to his gun. I said stay put. The hum of a car engine and the soft screech of brakes reach your ears. The headlights of a black limo pierce the night. And there's the boss. Let's go. He motions towards the light with his gun. You're coming to, finally in charge of your body, or at least you think so. The car's doors open, but nobody comes out. The stranger keeps motioning to the car. You hope it's the limo you expect. For a moment, you're pretty sure that what you see inside the car is just the bums drugged blooded, kicking in for an encore. The inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but it currently has none of that. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of gory torture session. You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all of this visual noise, and then realize there's nobody there. Or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% certain. It's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. The doors close behind you. Ugh. So the waste of good blood outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, huh? You've got something for me? You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port on the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happen to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data. Let me guess. This from Langley. She said she'd have something like this. You her new flunky. You have to bite your tongue to keep from arguing with the word he chose, but you nod. Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago. He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust. Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants our address, she can give me something else. I feel like if I use my power on him, he's just gonna get pissed. I'm pretty sure if I do it, he's gonna be able to resist or something because he's been alive for so long. So I'm gonna ask him how to make it up to him. I'm sorry this proved disappointing to you, Mr. Kaiser. Can I do something to make it up to you? He seems genuinely impressed. Now that's what I like to hear. Yeah, in fact, I was just about to mention it. I have something in mind. We'll talk again soon. You do that for me, the address is yours. Now would you be so kind as to get the fuck out of my car? You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past you, and soon the limo is on its way. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. I definitely want to do Kara's next. Hope's next. Because I think we're getting close to the end of her story. And then we'll do the Gangrels, Tamika's. When you reach the cafe, you're welcomed by the familiar face of the waiter who first led you inside. You exchange looks and nods. He hides his vape pen in a back pocket. She's been expecting you. Something happened to her car and she, hasn't exactly left her room since. He scratches his head, shrugs, and gestures at you to follow him. It's the same route as before. First, beyond the locked door at the end of the room with all the computers, then into an endless gray labyrinth. Finally, you reach a door that would look like any other to a random bystander. Of course, by now you know that Hope's haven lies beyond it. The waiter bids you adieu with an exaggerated bow and starts walking back to the cafe. You enter the familiar room. This time, the lights are on inside. Hope is inside, walking around nervously, overseeing every screen in sight. When she spots you, she wastes no time on introductions. Car Montgomery, what do you know over? You could have seen her in listicles such as Top 5 Badass Women in Tech 2018, 12 CEOs who spark innovation through empathy, or 20 entrepreneurs with mysterious ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, whatever. You don't get to answer. The question was just a minor courtesy. She has a monologue to deliver and she won't allow any interruption. 20 years ago, she was a failed .com investor. Now she's CEO of Double Spiral, a brand management startup, working at the crossroads of big data and influencer culture. The quotation marks are audible, dripping with venom. Long story short, she spent years convincing her Camarilla contacts, as in out-of-touch old farts angry about smartphones, that Kindred can benefit from controlling the internet. Her IT ghouls have done a lot of research on deepfakes, AI, and machine learning. Her goal is the ability to generate thousands of believably human online accounts. Basically, an army of posters that could brute force anything into the mainstream discourse. That just took a while to get the concept, but eventually Kara got their blessing. The thing is, she claims her tech is ready to be tested, but needs one final component to work properly, and that's why. She pauses. She proposed a truce. Fuck her. Took the words right out of my fucking mouth. But no matter how much I hate her guts, this is a blessing in disguise. Hear me out. She picked a public place in Manhattan, neutral ground where we can meet without the fear that the other party might do something stupid and violate the Masquerade. She wants to just talk. You will go there in my place and listen to her terms. We won't accept them, of course, especially not after she just tried to kill us. You will just steal her voice and walk away. Steal her voice? What next? Will you trade her mermaid tail for legs? A Disney joke? Sweet. What next? Will you hit me with a topical Harry Potter reference? I'm not trying to be obtuse here. Wait a second and let me explain my plan. You see, there's only one way to even the odds. We have to hit Kara where it hurts, and she's only got one weak point. Double Spiral headquarters. Kara's the only person there with access to every room. The security is something she came up with herself. Voice-based, but based on a different password phrase every time. That means just recording or talking is not enough if we want to get in. That's why I started selling illicit materials to people with access to advanced deepfake audio technology. I've got it right in this room, and now all I need is a sample base that will allow me to manufacture a bot that talks like her. To monitor data, I need to stay behind. Still, I think the plan is pretty simple. You talk to her while wearing a wire, I process the recordings here to steal her voice, and voila, she's wide open. Then we invade Double Spiral and destroy it from within. The evil is defeated. I become a part of your crew. Happy ending for everybody. How does that sound to you? She wanted to talk to you. Why would she talk to me? Yes, she's too stuck up to talk to a total rando, but given an opportunity to talk to Sophie Langley's right hand on her side, she won't let it pass her by. And even if you weren't a minor celebrity in this city, I'm sure our connection would have been enough to hear you out. I'm a minor celebrity? I thought I was just a nobody. Hope shakes her head and claps her hands. When she speaks up, she sounds different, more spaced out, stuttering. All right, let me fix you up with the hardware. She hands you a minuscule earpiece and starts attaching this small decorative pin to your clothes, along with some masked wiring. It's a directional microphone. I can clean up the audio later, but keep it pointed directly at Kara as much as possible, all right? You put on the earpiece she gave you. It fits snugly deep inside your right ear. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. The hardware works flawlessly, and the audio quality seems great. You give Hope an affirmative sign with your head. Beautiful. Car designated the meeting place as the Vessel. You've heard about the place, right? It's right by the eastern end of the Lincoln Tunnel. A giant pile of staircases, basically impossible to miss. Manhattan's answer to the Eiffel Tower, or a gaudy monument to being only ever so slightly free, depending on who you ask. I drive you there, but my car is still in the shop, and I don't want to risk being spotted by Kara's people. And I need to process the voice data from here. Which means I have a perfectly acceptable number of excuses for not letting myself get anywhere close to that demonic old hag. You involuntarily roll your eyes a little bit. Hope sits in front of her screens, pretending not to have noticed. So, should we get this show on the road, or what? Ready whenever you are. No sense lingering here. You get back to the street and find your car. Wrapping up this show as quickly as possible sounds like a good idea. Around 30 minutes later, you are in front of the Vessel. Hope's description, a giant pile of staircases, wasn't particularly helpful from this distance. The building looks more like a giant honeycomb, designed to swarm with tourist bees. At least during the day, that is. At the moment, the place is closed to general public. A few men who look vaguely threatening and out of place are making sure nobody unwanted gets in. However, you have no problem getting up the stairs. All it takes is an exchange of knowing glances with one of the guards. You are expected. A lone figure appears in your sight, staring down at the streets of Manhattan. You know, city people often complain about being unable to see the starry skies, but I always thought the real tragedy was how they're unable to appreciate the man-made sea of lights that surrounds them. You can teach people a lot of things, but you can't teach them to see, huh? You recognize the face from Hope's phone. Finally, you meet Kara Montgomery in the flesh. She turns to you, puts on a wide smile, and shakes your hand with a firm grip. First, a representative of Sophie Langley. Now, a representative of Hope. Not the way I developed my own career, but I gotta say, not many neonates get around the way you do. Hardy fucking har. Hope speaks up in your ear for the first time, seething with contempt. Although Kara couldn't possibly have heard her, she immediately goes on to address her absence. Can't say I expected her to actually arrive here with you or instead of you. On the other hand, I'm sure every single word I say will be instantly relayed to her. And for the first time in forever, your empty blabbering will serve an actually useful cause. So let's make sure we cut out everyone but the middleman for a while, okay? She takes out her phone and taps the touchscreen. In a few seconds, the barely perceptible buzzing sound in your ear disappears completely. You can't hear Hope anymore. It's probably she can't hear your voice right now either, which would mean she must be busy raging and cursing out everything in her sight at the moment. This obviously wasn't something she expected to happen. Could it be that Kara saw through your plan? have to play it cool, see what happens next. Knowing Hope, you've probably heard whatever scraps can be googled about me and a pile of insults for good measure. Obviously, I know everything there is to be known about you as well, Seth. I don't believe we have a need for formal introductions, but first off, let me apologize for the discomfort my former employee has caused you. I wasn't remotely aware of his planned actions against Hope. I fully condemn them. I'm glad to see you unharmed and, of course, applaud your swift disposal of the psycho. Langley chose you well. Brief silence. So let me cut to the chase here and present myself the best way I know how to, through my ideas. Who do you think has a monopoly on reality? Not much for small talk, is she? Who do you think has a monopoly on reality? Corporations do. That's a fairly typical answer, very 21st century sounding. Have they succeeded in replacing the state here, though? She signals to someone behind you. For a while, you've been watched by Kara's men who circle around the staircases, presumably her ghouls. One of them sets off downstairs. You know, Bolivia just had a military coup. Hundreds of new accounts posting about nothing but Bolivian politics in English set out to convince every random person online that the US wasn't to blame. Sloppy work, if you ask me. Now imagine this. A 17-year-old K-pop fan from Ohio writing an entire thread about how her relatives in La Paz are actually glad the president is gone. A film reviewer with a side interest in politics selling you a CIA-approved narrative about Evo Morales. An approachable fitness guy explaining the situation to you in simple terms, just like it is. Animated voice, expressive gestures, and steady eye contact. She's taught herself how to project a good image, but isn't a natural yet. At times, it feels as if she's screaming at you to trust her. It's not hard to emulate the masses. Reach out to one of those Eastern European troll farms and bang, a few hours later you have a clone army that will instantly voice the support for any cause. And yeah, sorry, I didn't see that, Lou, where was that? Jesus Christ, that was a while ago. Let me grab this real quick, guys. Jesus, okay, sorry, my peeps. Sorry. Well, hell, where'd it go? There we go. Boom, there we go, guys, don't worry. Got it out of the way. Anyways. Whew. You'll spread your message, but you won't foster a new culture that serves your goals. Won't masquerade your messaging as independent thought. For that, you need personalities, not the masses. Lou, I don't know if you're here still, but I totally didn't see it because I got overshined by Lucid. Yeah, I see you there. Okay, yeah, I literally looked over and I saw Lucid's YOLO pop up, and it looks like you guys sent it like a minute between maybe. But I literally, that's the first thing I saw, and I thought it was just Stream Elements pulling its crap. I had Stream Elements, I have Nightbot. I thought it was just another bot going there. The mic here, it's actually blocking a portion of the screen. It's not just an excuse, I swear to God. My apologies, I do feel really bad now. You need to understand the fabrication so deeply that you start to hate it and then learn to love it. And if you want to make a bunch of those personalities follow an agenda, you need a once-in-a-lifetime team to achieve that. A like-minded artistic collective, both ambitious and obedient. Even though you can't hear Hope's voice in your ear right now, you could swear you hear her in Kara's speech. It's the exact same tone she was using when monologuing in the car. And yeah, I'm already on part 4. But I mean, each one's about an hour long, so I don't know how long the game's gonna be, but yeah. This is the main series right now, so. One of them must have been a big influence on another, or perhaps they used to be in a position where they both shaped each other's personas. Hard to say, only one thing is for sure. And that is Hope must be absolutely furious right now. Is it possible that Kara knew about her plot? Fingers crossed she doesn't. Yeah. Hope your day is going well so far. Streaming today. The state is satisfied when an account that went unused for 5 years suddenly starts yelling imperialistic propaganda into the void. The aging corporations are too set in their ways. But imagine a fresh startup that enables the proliferation of ideas adjacent to the prince's plan for the future. Now imagine it getting into bed with the biggest corporations and agencies. So many unlives that could be improved, or even saved from the raids of First Light. I have the infrastructure, I have the elders' support. All I need now is a mastermind at the center of it all. Hope. Yes, hope. She looks down and takes in the scenery below for a while. Then she points at her t-shirt, the one piece of clothing that clashes with the rest of her outfit. I'm doing good, thanks for asking. You know, I'm a huge fan of punk. The leading idea of my company, Double Spiral, is to make everything I do a little bit punk. I'm all about clashing ideas. I'm all about disruption. You blink a few times in a quick succession. Oh god, you think to yourself, she's that kind of person. You saw a lot of them in your old life. Another establishment asshole co-opting everything anti-establishment, blasting Fugazi while ruining lives via Excel spreadsheets. You might have punched a boss cut from the same cloth once. Oh yeah, Elder Scrolls Online? You clicked yourself and escaped from memory lane. Cars started talking about hope, so you better listen. To me, hope is a punk as it gets. A free spirit, fiercely independent, an eternal contrarian at odds with everything and everyone. Developing her talents just because she finds it joyful. But god, does this girl need guidance. Not putting her talents to better use, rotting away, posting inane bullshit all the time. What a waste. I've built an environment specifically to develop her talents and let her become indispensable to our society. But she rejects it because of some idiotic hang-ups. Hey, what's up, Matthew? How you doing? I don't expect you to change your mind about me just because I kept yapping and yapping. I just hope you'll keep my perspective in mind and serve as the voice of reason Hope really needs right now. Now that I've had my say, how about we put our girl back on? Hope you're doing well today. Some good water. She taps on her phone again, a quiet buzz reappearing in your right ear. This is a better safe than sorry kind of thing, isn't it? There's no one listening in. Maybe you're right. Maybe not. She's 100 times too early to even think of accessing my comms. She's bullshitting you. Don't sell her anything but bullshit in return. Oh yeah, I never really got into it. Damn it. I hope that muted it. I pressed the mute button to mute my voice so I could clear my throat. But yeah, I played it for a little bit, didn't really fully get into it. Look who's back. Don't worry, she should have heard everything. I just wanted to spare you an annoying commentary track while I introduce myself. Excuse me for a second. One of Kara's guards approaches to show her something on his phone. Hope uses the distraction to get you up to speed with how things are on her side. Yeah, for a second there, I was about to rage that the hag has gotten the better of us. But hey, go figure, she just wanted to take a piss in my Cheerios. The plan worked. I have a lot of data from her monologuing and some private sources, but the more we gather, the better. This display here says some more K letters could be useful. So, don't beat yourself up about it if you fail, but if you get her to repeat something with K in it, that might improve our deepfake voice. I am enjoying the Malkavian storyline so far. I like it to an extent. I definitely think she's my favorite Malkavian I've come across. Between Bloodlines 1 and this. Oh, okay. Makes sense, I guess. Looks like Kara's done talking to the guard. Sorry about that. Looks like I've got to attend a sudden meeting with the Google representative shortly. Hope snorts. Not bragging, though. By the way, does anyone but Hope know about this little rendezvous? Your patron, any other companion, or maybe the Nosferatu? I bet the Nosferatu do. Wait, is it asking me? Is it asking me if I told anybody about it? Or is it asking me, like, who do I think knows about it? That's a question here. I don't know how to answer this, because I don't know if it's asking me what, like, if I think somebody knows about it, or if I told somebody about it, because I told nobody about it. What do you guys think? Because I'm honestly stuck on how I should interpret this. I'm about to run out of water. La da 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 ba sha ba 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 da ba da ba 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 ba. What is that? Oh, okay, yeah. Nose. Okay, we'll go with the Nosferatu, because I was gonna go there, but I didn't know how I was gonna answer it. So what if it's the Nosferatu? Kara's face takes on a hard expression. When she starts talking, she takes great pains not to say too much. Word of advice, kid? Kaiser's not in this business to be kind to strangers. Kaiser's only got Kaiser's interest in mind, and nothing else. He might not let it show, but he's always in a kill or be killed mindset. If you're doing business with him, keep that in mind at all times. Hope lets out a quiet, triumphant howl. Nice choice, Matthew. Well, the screen tells me this should be all the K we need. Good job. Kara decides to change the subject. Anyway, no offense, but since Hope's not here, I really have to rush. Honestly, I feel a little insulted that she set up this meeting and didn't even bother to show up. Insulted and suspicious, her tone of voice betrays her. She might have some good instincts. Too bad she didn't trust them here. Still, out of respect for Langley, I decided to have this talk with you, to explain you why I'm an asset to the Camarilla, and to explain why the elders need Hope by my side. What the worm-brained hag here forgot to mention is that... Oh, jeez, my voice went out there. The elders don't give a shit about me. Even if you don't see it my way now, I believe I've sown some seeds here that might sprout in the near future. Double Spiral looks out for people who look out for it, is all I'm saying. But before I leave, you know, there's one thing I really wish I knew. Back when I knew her, she was a different person, or different people, depending on how you look at it. Why does she fight against me so much? What's her motivation to resist so much? What's her motivation? Good question. She's never shared it with you. Answer whatever you want, but you better lie through your teeth, and B, get her to say V a few times if you can. It might improve a few shortcomings of our deepfake software. What's your answer? I want to do one word, payback and retribution. Survival? Probably survival. I'm gonna choose survival this time, whether it's right or wrong. Survival. Kara snorts. Spare me. If she just wanted to keep pulling through, she'd have a much better chance by my side. Pride or spite would be far more believable as an answer. Should have told me you either don't know or don't trust me. Survival. V times 2. Good attempt, at least. One of Kara's people erupts with a theatrical cough. Wait a minute. This is a mess up! This is a mess up! This is another one that I noticed. This is supposed to be where I talk like this. One of Kara's people erupts with a theatrical cough. Kara gestures at him to calm down. It's supposed to be that. That's what this is supposed to be. I really need to go now. See you around, Seth. This right here. She begins to walk down the stairs surrounded by her guards. When she's gone from your eyes, Hope decides to summarize your mission. For the love of Christ, wish you could have kept her droning on for a little longer. Turns out the T letter could use some improvements as well. Not complaining though, you did good, and don't worry, the data I have should be more than enough to generate a convincing deepfake. I just need to put it in some more work. So I guess that right away. Enjoy the rest of your night. Drop my hardware at your haven when you get a chance. I'll let you know when we're ready to hit Kara's base of operations. Pray for my success, sweetie, and I might be done soon. Maybe even tomorrow. And once we're done with her, we'll talk about how I can repay your generosity. Amen. The connection drops. Looks like that's all for now. Gaze at the sea of lights around you for the last time, and then start making your way back to street level. Can I do anything else? No? Okay, I need to rest. You're walking down the streets towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In New York City, there are plenty of passerbys going about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire, surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker, or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car, ordinary cops, or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you've felt like this. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. Yep. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. His hands are outside of his pockets, and he seems pretty relaxed. He's keeping his eyes on the street though, as if making sure you're alone. He smiles awkwardly when you approach. Evening. Got something for you from our mutual friend. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, then give it back here. It's a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, "Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro." Damn it, I hope I don't have to actually remember that. Remember that, guys! When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a Fidele Servitor della Famiglia. G. Those exact fucking words, and make sure you get the G right. You get a bottle. Just take it and leave by saying, "Grazie." Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let him know. You done? Memorize that shit and hand it over. Letters? Passwords? What's with all this cloak and dagger nonsense? That's how the boss likes it. And who am I to argue? I just do what he says. You're about done with the letter. You note the phrases and addresses mentioned in the letter, then hand it back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in that alley over there, so find me when you have the item. Whatever it is, I don't know, and the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. Shuffles off away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. There's a door at the back of the room with a small table and chair, occupied by a man in a black fox leather jacket with slick, combed back hair. He's reading a newspaper but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small, steaming cup, then gets back to his broadsheet. Good evening. How can I help you? I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negramaro, please. Let me check our stock. She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. Sorry. I am a fedele servitor della Famiglia G. I don't know how to say that right. Ah, in that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. A man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. But a minute passes. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter and keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open, and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologetic smile. Scusi, sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle, and you reach out, grab it, but she retracts it. You do know what this is, don't you? You focus your blood, and immediately see both of the people in the shop focus intently in on you, and what you're about to say. In other words, shh, I'm a Giovanni. You focus your blood and immediately see both of the people in the shop focus intently in on what you're about to say. I know exactly what this is, and I'm the right person to give it to. The woman gives you the bottle without hesitation. Grazie. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He's not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Damn it. Got the goods? I sure do. Cool. Stand by. Gotta make the call. Takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time. Hey boss, yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay, yeah, I'll tell them to go there right away. He puts the phone back into his pocket and turns back to you. Willets Point. Half an hour, so you better step on it. See you around. With only a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Willets Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down the potholes, will kill your chassis. You step out into one of the gashes in the asphalt, splashing in the ankle-deep water. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman who's just locking the place up. This is too perfect an opportunity to not take advantage of. She's walking to her car, ready to call it a night, when you sneak up on her. She's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. You could taste the caffeine in her veins, smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair, the old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out. You assault the closing note of a long day at work. That was worded weirdly. You let her down gently and feel a pang of remorse. You pick up the car keys she dropped and place her in the driver's seat. She'll find an explanation for passing out like this for sure. The bright lights of a car pulling over down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Kaiser is finally here, it would seem. Same as last time, the car doors open but nobody comes out. You know the drill. This time, Kaiser's visible when you look inside. You sit down and close the door behind you. So you pulled it off without a hitch then. Give it here. You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. He uncorks it gently, takes a whiff, and puts the cork back in. Yeah, that's the stuff. Good job, kid. Consider your debt paid. Oh yeah, and also take this. It's what Langley wanted. He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. Now we're even. Sure, fledgling. If that's the way you want to see it, I'll send Jackie over if I ever need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now. He waves you out of the car with the envelope in hand. You get out, back onto the torn asphalt and decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. Thomas Arturo. You met in Elysium a few nights back. The shriek is unmistakable. Ah, Seth. So glad to see you. Tell me, did you two have a chance to talk previously? Thomas speaks up before you can. Why yes, of course, and such a good first impression you made too. Miss Langley clearly did the right thing by taking you under her wing. I'm sure she thinks so too, don't you, Sophie? Why, of course, Of course you do. Of course. Well, I believe I must be going. I'll be sure to let the Prince Panhard know your thoughts, Miss Langley. Word for word, or as close as I can remember them. I appreciate it, Thomas. You two enjoy your night now. Good night, Sophie. Seth. Gregory boy. He gives you a sly smile. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The doors close. He's quite the character, isn't he? Yes, quite, but he has his uses. Thomas's clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if eccentricity... oh my god, here we go. Eccentricity requires some patience. English. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for? Yes, I have it, but the data you offered was old news to him. I had to do another job for him before he would give me this card. She retrieves the envelope from you. I'm sure he did. I do hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. He made me go on an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. I had to use code phrases and whatnot. Wine shop? Code phrases? That degenerate pest? She's visibly agitated but calms down and smiles at you. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw on Kaiser's note from before, but can't see the details. Her eyes widen. Yes! Excellent! I need to call in some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear charge. I will contact you soon. With that, Sophie ushers you outside, and you are left to do with the rest of this night's hours as you like. Ooh, okay. It's the hour mark already. But I really want to see what happens to destroying Carlos Montgomery's company from within. Okay, I don't know. For those of you that are here, what do you think? Would you like me to do one last thing? Or end it here and start this double spiral in the next episode? I'll leave this decision up to the ones currently watching. Remember guys, for those of you who are watching, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're enjoying this as well. I hope you keep enjoying this. It's an episode. Are you saying to do it in another episode? Because this is normally when this episode would normally end here, and then I'd be starting that in the next episode. Okay, so we'll do it in the next episode then. I'm assuming that's what you meant, right? Just making sure. I don't. It's okay. It's longer. Gotcha. Okay, so we are gonna end it here, guys. So for all of you watching this now and after, thank you for watching. I am leave the climax, but I'm biased. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we got everybody just leaving it here. So for those of you watching currently now, remember, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me live. And for those of you watching this after, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you watching it while it's not live. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you already haven't. I very much appreciate it. I hope to see you guys in the next part tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, the dancing dream. Ciao for now. And remember guys, if you want to join the Discord, you can find the link below and you'll be able to chat with me offline or when I'm not streaming. Just like on YouTube, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And then also, if you want to be a Patreon member or just donate any other time you want, which is completely optional, you can by finding the Patreon link below. It's gonna further, get games, equipment to increase my streaming productivity, efficiency, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, thank you guys for stopping by. I will see you guys tomorrow or later tonight, depending on if I do stream with a friend later. I will catch you guys later. It's been fun.